Steven Universe is the property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and its respective owners. Any and all footage or images have been used for the sole purpose of critique or parody, and as such are protected under fair use. Please support the official release. Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and in February, Steven Universe returns with a new episode titled The New Crystal Gems, and so I'll be giving my predictions and expectations for it. The description of the episode is as follows. Connie helps look after Beach City while Steven is busy. Now this seems to be the kind of episode with a ton of creative possibilities. Typically, Steven Universe is presented in an over-the-shoulder fixed lens on Steven's perspective. Even in the case of flashbacks, there are always stories being told to Steven after he himself incites them. But nevertheless, episodes that deviate away from Steven's control tend to be both informative and interesting. And I know that's pretty standard for this show, but you have to understand how difficult it can be for some shows to separate from their main characters without collapsing. After pretty much being attached at the hip to the main character, it's pretty liberating to get some B-team action, especially when they're all fan favorites and they can actually hold their own in combat. But at this point, it's almost an unspoken rule that Steven has to be present in some capacity for each episode. Honestly, I'm hoping he doesn't intervene at all, and really, does he even have to? Regardless of whether this episode is taking place during the events of Steven Bomb 5 or after the events of Steven Bomb 5, Steven's options for communicating with the B-team are limited.
What? No signal? Come on, I'm right by a satellite!
Making Steven's only means of intervention his body possession power, which he hasn't shown much mastery over to begin with, and once again, what would be the purpose? Sure, he'd have front row seats when it comes to any potential action, but that's about it. Hypothetically, if there were to be some sort of crisis, he shouldn't be involved, because by doing so, he'd be endangering his host body, so humans are pretty much out of the question. My boy Vox made a pretty interesting point that Steven could enter the body of Veggiehead like he did for the Watermelon Stevens. After all, Steven doesn't seem to mind endangering the lives of his plant children anyways, and he'd instantly be close to Lapis and Peridot, but that would still be weird to me. I mean, let's not forget that Veggiehead is terrified of Steven the Carver and doesn't like him. To be possessed by the person you fear the most sounds like some cruel punishment for the poor thing. And again, what would be the purpose of this? On paper, it just sounds like an excuse for Steven to be there, and I don't think he's entirely necessary for the narrative this episode looks to be directed in. So I'm thinking Steven will be sitting this one out in space. And guys, is it too much to ask for the Steven being busy part of the description to be referring to Ruby retrieval? Now obviously, the title of this episode instantly raises some eyebrows. The New Crystal Gems seems to recognize the B-team as official Crystal Gems, and something that is heavily associated with being an official Crystal Gem is of course their signature star. Neither Peridot nor Lapis have received their own just yet, and Peridot receiving one at some point seems to be pretty much inevitable.
You're probably like my favorite crystal gem, and I got so happy when you became one. So I was wondering, like, when will your uniform get a star on it?
You're just gonna have to watch the next episodes, airing July 18th on Cartoon Network. You'll see the star. You'll definitely see the star. I'm not gonna tell you where, but it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Based on the title, this seems like the appropriate time for Peridot at least to receive a star. And if Peridot does receive a star, that would require reformation, which requires poofing, which would seemingly equate to a rather credible threat. Remember, Peridots don't poof easily, so will require something around Garnet level to actually do the job. But oddly enough, this supposed threat seems to be taken care of by the next episode Storm in the Room based on its description, which we'll totally be talking about in another video. So really, what is this threat to Beach City? I know a ton of you will probably point fingers to the diamonds considering Yellow Diamond said this.
The window for preserving Earth specimens is closing.
Phew. Is that what you want? Sapphire, has the cluster emerged yet?
No, it has not.
Then there's still time.
But personally, I'm not entirely sold that the diamonds will be or will insinuate this threat. If Homeworld plots to procure more specimens and is immediately stopped, that'd be another red flag for the Crystal Gems on top of Peridot's rebellion, Jasper's disappearance, and the Ruby recovery team's disappearance as well. Considering how much the Diamond spoke of the cluster, it feels like we should be anticipating the cluster to miss its appointed emergence day, and that would in turn be the catalyst that sets Homeworld's sights on Earth once again. because regardless of whatever agenda or issues Homeworld is currently facing, they still have emotional ties to the Earth, a constant stain that won't fade away no matter what they attempt. So for anything else to attract their attention would seem rather anticlimactic. At most, I expect them to send some gems to Earth to pick out humans, but not go grocery shopping on their own.
She's gonna eat him!
And really, the timing of this episode is kind of funny. I've always felt that if Connie were given more control of an episode's flow than Steven, that we'd definitely get more questions raised because she's so intelligent. And now that we're seemingly getting this, Steven is asking questions and is on a new quest for answers and won't stop at anything, as indicated by the episode following this one. With that aside, I'm pretty excited by the idea of Connie and Peridot working together as two nerds and the writing possibilities that come up with that. Truth be told, I'm pretty excited whenever Peridot gets any screen time, considering she's my favorite character, but whatever. If they do engage in combat, I'm curious what new toys Peridot may actually use this time around. And I suppose I should talk about Lapis too, right? Well, Lapis is essentially a wild card when it comes to her personality, in the sense that you never know how she's gonna exactly react to certain things. But she, at the same time, physically is the insurance. She is the muscle. Like, she is OP on her own. She probably doesn't need these two to protect Beach City or the entire planet, considering she took the entire ocean. But if Peridot is poofed, I'm curious how she would react if she is present, and if she is present, how exactly did that happen with her being there? I would say that it's probably an accident, but we've seen Peridot be crushed by a boulder and not poof, so any object hitting her, I doubt that that's gonna actually poof her. I expect an actual gem to do the job. I mean, maybe there's a one-on-one fight between them and Peridot ends up getting poofed, but I highly doubt that, and I know all you shippers would be totally against that if you're with Lapidot. And as a closing thought, let me just say this. Really and truly, the main cast better not return without the ruby. Steven, you cannot lie to me. Bring my angry children back home with you. Do not tell me that you're gonna get them on the way back and come back empty-handed. I need the Ruby Squad back. No questions. But guys, I'm really interested in what you expect this episode to be like, and actually, go ahead and tell me how you'd make it. And while you're at it, share this video with anyone you think deserves a star. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day. Guys, I know you noticed something different about this video. The artwork of me was made by my incredible friend Kitsune Zakuro, so please show her the love over on her channel. Support her. Subscribe to her. She makes amazing content. Fusion Friday videos, shipping Sunday videos. I love her and you should too. And now that I have this newfound power, I'm questioning if I should make review videos for the upcoming episodes. If you guys would like to see me review these episodes, please tell me in the comment section below. Right now the power is in your hands, so please let me know. And I want you to know that I love you.